Now, let's get into some Doomsday stuff. And this one is pretty wild, man. This one's pretty wild. So we spoke yesterday about that random guy that hopped the fence over at the Doomsday set. Do you guys recall this? Do you recall this? We talked about it. So there's some dude over in the UK that literally just hopped a fucking fence on the Doomsday set, which you won't have this once everything's just made completely generated, by the way. But this guy hops the fence. He goes into the set. He goes to the snack bar. He smacks Simu Louis on his ass. You know, it says, good job, good game. Go get him. He takes all sorts of photos. Spills the beans on some shit, okay? Yeah, so this guy. Well, guess what? He was at it again. He was at it again yesterday. So I'm going to read this article here. Unfortunately, the image was taken down. I think it got taken down everywhere. But I'll go over the article and I'll explain what's happening. Okay, Avengers Doomsday set leak may reveal the movie's surprising plan for Bob/the Sentry. Another leak from the set of Doomsday appears to reveal Marvel Studios and the Russo brothers' plan for the Sentry, and Bob may play a bigger role in the movie than we initially expected. Over the weekend, a fan managed to break into the Avengers Doomsday set. I mean, break in is putting it harshly, man. I guess technically he did break in, though. He shared footage of the cast trailers and Madripoor set. Now the leaker is taking to Instagram to share a map showcasing the Annie Reynolds house at an undisclosed London location. Most interesting is the fact that the house is labeled with void space. Actress Molly Carden played Annie Reynolds, the mother of Robert Reynolds, in Thunderbolts. While it's possible Marvel Studios is using code names, this seems to suggest that Bob/the Sentry will return to the void and confront his mother. We saw in Thunderbolts the way she reacted to her son's attempt to stop his father's violent outbursts played a pivotal role in the darkness that surrounds Bob to this day. It's interesting that the Sentry story will continue in this way, and it could be the way to either take him off the board or something that happens if and when the Golden Guardian attempts to trap Doctor Doom in the void. It's hard to make a prediction without proper context, but it sounds like this mysterious set invader has more material for the Doomsday set that they intend to share in the coming days. Oh, goody! Oh, goody, let's go. As noted, Bob will return in Avengers Doomsday alongside his fellow New Avengers, but Pullman recently confirmed that he's in the dark when it comes to his MCU future. Here's a couple interesting quotes. The only thing I've read is what we've shot already, which is technically the teaser at the end of Thunderbolts. The Top Gun Maverick star confirmed. Technically, that is a part of Doomsday. That was shot by the Russo bros. All I know is that Bob is in a state of idle hibernation. Ooh, interesting. He added, I think the Thunderbolts don't want to let him go because they don't know what kind of havoc he'll wreak. But they also want to keep him in case they might have to use him in the future. And then they flood it with SEO stuff there. Okay. So this is pretty wild. Now, the map, which again is hard to find, I guess technically it is still up at some places, but it was taken down on most big accounts. This is a map for something being built on the set of Doomsday. It seems like it's a house. It is called Void Space. And then there's Bob's room and his mother's room. Okay? Now, that's kind of interesting. Now, we don't 100% know what this means, of course. I have a couple of different theories, okay? I think it's basically one of two things. I think it's either the New Avengers. Actually, it's one of three things. It's either the New Avengers have some kind of a facility or a place where they can try to keep Bob idle. As he was explaining in his comments, he's in a state of idle hibernation. Does that mean that maybe through the barf technology that Tony Stark had, you have the ability for Bob Reynolds to revisit his past, maybe outside of the actual void powers, and therefore keep the powers at bay or something? That could be interesting. It could be the case that they actually have his mother there, And there's something about actually having him in his mother's house or a rebuild of his mother's house that keeps him in that state of hibernation. Okay, so that I think could be part of it. Another option, I think this is more likely, is this is some way that Doom will convince Bob to help him. There seems to be a lot of rumors indicating that Doom might be offering up what people truly desire, almost in like a monkey paw scenario, in order to have them join him. Okay? So mostly you've heard this rumored with Spider-Man himself, but this is potentially something that's going to happen with Wanda and the X-Men. This is a thread that kind of happens via House of M, because Wanda was trying to give everybody what they wanted ultimately. Like, she read their minds and tried to give them what she thought they wanted. So if Doom is smart enough and resourceful enough to go around the multiverse and capture or gather other versions of the Avengers, like a Hydra Cap, like maybe a Maestro Hulk, you know, these are all rumors. We don't know for sure. But if he has the ability to do that, then he would also have the ability to go grab up potentially a good version of Bob's mom. So imagine this. Like, he goes to Bob Reynolds and he's like, hey, man, I know you're troubled. I know you're incredibly powerful. And I know you like these guys and they're trying to help you. But they don't have the resources that Doom has. How would you like to have your childhood home back with a version of your mother that I found within the multiverse that's like sweet and loving and caring? I can give you that, Bob. I can give you what you've always wanted. And, you know, we don't know. That's just speculation. But I do kind of think that would be a pretty hardcore Doctor Doom thing to do. There was a report recently, too, that Yelena will actually be attacking the X-Men with Sam Wilson's Avengers team. So she might not even be with the new Avengers anymore. Maybe one of the reasons why is because she feels she has to go get Sentry from Doctor Doom or something, right? So that could be it. And then the third explanation, and maybe this is like the most obvious one, and I think this is the one where maybe most of your heads are at. Maybe this is another shame room, and it will have something to do with Doom, and maybe Doom and Sentry have a moment in the Void realm, but this will be when we find out that Doom is built different, you know? I don't know exactly how or why, but like, dude, I'm just telling you right now, there would be a really cool way to show how powerful Doom was if he was able to go into that thing and still remain in charge and potentially even like kick the shit out of the Void or something. I don't really know. But yeah, that would be really wild. Now, there's one other element here that makes it maybe even a little bit more interesting. And this is the concept art that was leaked a couple of months ago. And damn, there was a lot in there. But one of the pieces, and this was, I think it was one of the most popular pieces from the leak. Let me see if I can quickly find it here. It was somebody being chained up. So let's see here. Secret Wars leak chained up. It was a chained up person that seemed to either be on fire or be emanating some kind of crazy energy. I can't really find it easily, actually. Maybe one of you guys can find it. You've probably seen the image. And as soon as that image came out, there were a lot of folks. In fact, I'll just put Sentry in here. Maybe that'll. A lot of folks were like, dude, that's probably the Sentry. And it seemed like this was either in some kind of forge or like chimney almost. And so a lot of folks were like, you know what? I bet Doom takes Sentry and uses Sentry as like fuel for either his forge or his castle. Now, there's precedence for this because in the Doom, in Secret Wars in Hickman's run, there's no sun. And so Doom makes Johnny Storm the sun. So he literally like turns Johnny Storm into this like endless supernova ball of fire that becomes the son of Battleworld. He turns Ben Grimm into a wall around his kingdom. Okay? So there's some precedence for Doom to be doing some super shady stuff like that and like utilizing characters as a power source, a lantern, whatever, you know? So because that image is out there and a lot of people are like, dude, that's got to be him. And also some people thought it might have been Florence Pugh that brings the prisoner in front of Doom. It does kind of look like Florence. What a twist if she has to bring Sentry to God Emperor Doom. I don't know. There's a lot we don't know, obviously. But dude, this dude hopped the fucking fence and took a photo that's apparently so crazy that Marvel's desperately trying to take it down. None of the scoopers are talking about it. None of the Reddit groups that I'm on are talking about it. So I don't know what it is. But I'll talk about it. I'll speculate about it, you know? I don't really know. But it does seem exciting, man. Sentry is probably the most powerful character in Marvel, the MCU right now. He can't fully utilize his power. That's what's holding him back, right? But technically, man, I feel like if the Void got full control, that's kind of like lights out. If Sentry went all in with his own powers, that's kind of like lights out. But Doctor Doom's about to become a god, right? Like Doom is Doom. So how would Doom deal with a character like Sentry? I think that's something we're all really interested in. My original thought was like, oh, well, they're just going to keep Bob weak because he's not mentally all there. And Doom would probably be able to mind control him pretty easily. Charles Xavier make Sentry fold like a lawn chair because of all of his trauma. So there's a lot of trouble for Sentry. But if they make him go all in, if he fully does Sentry stuff, and then Doctor Doom handles that shit, ooh, that's kind of tough. That would be kind of cool. So there you have it with that. And there's one little additional rumor here I want to bring up, and then we'll get into Q&A, guys, okay? So this one's kind of cool. We've all been wondering about what Doctor Doom will look like, and this includes, you know, the costume. This includes his actual face, etc., etc. So, a couple of interesting things going on. We had, and by the way, according to Chris Claremont, he's playing 4 characters. So there could be multiple versions of Doom that he's actually playing, but let's just stick with one for now, okay? So, we had the concept art, which shows 2 versions. Pretty traditional Doom, and then a Doom in the white God Emperor Doom, okay? We have the image from Downey's birthday invitation, which is fucking terrible. Please don't let that be it. We had the first image shared from the Russos, which was technically Boss Logic art, which made it seem like maybe he was more of an Iron Man variant. We've had a bunch of various looks, right? The Alex Ross art from the thing yesterday. Well, according to Chris Gore, who does have incredible sources, remember, Chris Gore was like the only person that knew about the chair thing. Now, he didn't know it was chairs, but he knew some massive announcement was coming, and that was the chair stuff. So Chris Gore, pretty good sources, okay? So let's go over a couple of things here. So it says here, looks like Alex Ross image used as placeholder, but who knows? Apparently Chris Gore said that the design that he saw is very evocative of characters from the classic Universal Monsters movies when talking to Nerd Erotic. And that sounds very much like the kind of thing that influenced the original character design. There was a post on this that someone tried to share here, but the sources are banned, so we didn't approve it. Apparently, yes, his face is indeed disfigured. The title of the now removed thread is Chris Gore says Doctor Doom is armored and his face is disfigured, like the old Universal Monster movies. Okay, so here's the problem with this. If this is true, then how is the character of Doom having the face of Tony Stark, how is that going to be played off in the movie? Another problem, and I think I actually understand how this will work, but let me just lay out the problems. The other problem is that according to a lot of rumors, Doom will first pretend to be Tony Stark. Like he's going to pretend to be a Tony Stark variant that is there to help save the Avengers and defeat the X-Men or something. Okay? So how can he do that if he's like, hey, I'm Tony Stark, but my face looks like Hamburglar? And they're like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know that it'll have the same effect. I also don't know that, like, you pay $100 million to Downey, you want him to look so much like Tony Stark that your characters are having an issue with it, your audience is blown away, and yet he's going to look like Hamburglar. It's like, wait, what? Okay, well, here's what I think it'll mean. Because I believe Gore, but Gore's probably seen something that's either concept art, makeup stuff, or like an actual set photo, right? I think it'll probably be the case that Doom first introduces himself as Tony, and he looks flawless. But that's probably either magic or technology or something that's hiding his true nature. And I think this would be a really clever way to, at the end of Doomsday, sort of flip and show to all of these heroes that it was Doctor Doom. Like maybe something happens either through fighting the X-Men or something else happening out there, Wanda, Franklin, who knows. And all of a sudden, all of the Avengers that have stood shoulder to shoulder with this Tony Stark variant the whole time, they see his face for what it really is. I mean, doesn't that seem cool? Doesn't that feel like a nice reveal? And then maybe that's when it's too late. And there's nothing they can do. And then he finally reveals himself to be Doom. And then maybe whoops everybody's asses and remakes the multiverse, right? So, yeah, this is kind of interesting. There's so much that we're curious about with Doom, man. I mean, we still don't fully know if it's a Stark variant or Stark was a Doom variant or if there's any connection at all, right? There's a lot we don't know. I have my theory, of course. I still believe that theory. But there's a lot of new stuff that's like hard to make sense of. So there you have it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. And if you like this clip, smash a like on the actual video and subscribe to this channel. That way more of these clips get into your feed. I've also linked the full episode below if you want to check out the entire thing, including the Q&A we do with fans. You can also watch this show live. We do it live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And you can also find all of my content, including the videos I put on my main YouTube channel, on the podcast feed.